Still so lucid, Uncle. His Holiness is thirsty. They're still there. Oh, yes, Your Holiness, they're still there. And many more have come. Many more. They're praying. The square is full of people.
Your father is dying. I love them. They love me.
They say people are coming from all over the world. Catholics and non-believers alike.
No one is excluded by love or compassion. No one.
Dear.
How is he?
They say his condition has only worsened. An infection has set in, and the last I heard, he has a perforated ulcer. But that didn't impair him from communicating his preference for a successor, Cardinal Monti.
Please, I only care about Angelo at the moment. I need to see him.
Most likely he's going to receive us cardinals. They'll call us. But maybe just for the last rites. Can I give you a lift somewhere, Your Eminence?
No. My dear Angelo, I pray that fate grants me the privilege of standing beside you one last time. But I'm not sure that that will happen. That is why I'm writing to you. I can't go on living without asking forgiveness for all the grievance I've caused you. Allow me to be illuminated once again by your smile.
Good morning, Angelino. What time is it? It's still so early. No.
Come on, Saverio. The child is very young.
It's time to go to Mass.
Oh.
And we have a long way ahead.
The Lord is waiting for us. Hurry, Uncle, hurry!
Pater Noster.
Pater Noster, quies in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum.
What's he saying to us, Uncle?
It's Latin. Shh.
You know the meaning.
Of course, give us this day our daily bread.
And give us our daily bread today.
And forgive us our trespasses.
And forbid us our trespasses.
As we forgive those who trespass against us.
As we forgive those who trespass.
And lead us not into temptation.
Into temptation, lead us not.
But deliver us from evil. Amen.
And deliver us. Amen.
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 You'll have to do better than that.
A lot better, Uncle.
Listen, Angelo. Working in the fields is hard, but it's something you know well. Where you're going now, everything and everyone will be unfamiliar to you, and you'll have no one to help you. Are you really sure about this?
Papa, I want to become a priest. That's all I will ask you for.
Over there, beyond the forest, is Celana. From here on, you'll have to learn to go by yourself. Go.
Papa, I don't know when I'm supposed to wear the shoes.
You're at school.
Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimittimus.
Angelo.
Tia.
We met at seminary. And Angelo, it was certainly the best period of my life. Your friendship came as a precious gift. Nicola, too, shared those moments. It was he who took this photo.
Do you know how to work that thing or not, Nicola?
Yes. Just give me a minute. There's something...
Do you know how to work that thing or not? Just push the button.
Yes, I know. But... you're both upside down, Mattia.
Yeah, that's how it works. Just take the picture.
All right.
Nicola only knows how to handle books.
Smile. You ready? Done.
Roncalli, I'd like you to translate this into the Hebrew. Thank you.
Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, la'asok b'divrei Torah.
I see you a little distracted, Catania. And yet, given your Judaic background, I would have thought you'd find Hebrew rather relevant.
I'm sorry, Monsignor. You're right.
I'll accept your apology, along with the pamphlet you're reading. Thank you.
Certainly, Monsignor. But it's not a pamphlet. It's a bulletin published by the modernist movement.
Ah, so this is what you read, huh?
Yes.
Heresy is not part of our curriculum.
Is letting fresh air into the church heresy? What authors can we read? Is Kant, who's also forbidden, a heretic? The truth is that the church prefers to keep us in the Dark Ages. Isn't it, Monsignor?
What we'd prefer right now Mr. Catania, is for you to leave this classroom.
Nicola's so arrogant and presumptuous. He doesn't know the meaning of the word humility.
He does talk back to his teachers. But maybe the things he's saying are true. Why shouldn't certain ideas be open to discussion?
Because they want us to choose. You know what they say, read little but read well. He reads too much.
Astonishment is the child of ignorance. My parish priest used to say that. The danger is not Nicola. It's the suppression of new ideas.
You're always defending Nicola. Maybe because he's from the country, like your parish priest.
Father Rebuzzini taught me to treat everyone with respect. Whether they're from the city or the country, like me.
I didn't mean to offend you.
Ah, that's right.
Sancte Johannes Baptista, ora pro nobis. Sancte Andrea, ora pro nobis. Sancte Johannes, ora pro nobis. Sancte Stefane, ora pro nobis.
Pax Domini sic semper tecum.
Amen. Nicola.
Oh, Angelo, you've done it. You are a priest now.
Yes.
Come, Angelo. I want to introduce you.
Yes.
Father Roncalli, this is Cardinal Goffredo.
Oh, we've already met.
Yes.
And Monsignor Radini Tedeschi.
How nice to meet you.
I heard impressive things about you. Perhaps one day we'll have a chance to travel the same path together.
Ah, it would be an honor, Monsignor.
Would you excuse me?
Thank you.
Don Stefano.
Your Eminence.
Congratulations, Father Roncalli.
Then you did come.
Of course I did. Been here all along. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you, Mattia.
I've just spoken to my uncle Goffredo. He said he can find you a good assignment here in Rome. At the Curia. Then in a year after I'm ordained, I'll come too.
Thank you, Mattia, but I prefer going back home.
Why? All the important jobs are here. With your intelligence and your education.
The important jobs are near the people we love. I want to go back to them, Mattia. They're the ones who've taught me the words of God.
Mama, my son.
Mother! I told you I'd come back, didn't I?
Yes, yes.
Oh, Father. I'll get some very Angelo. Augustenium corpus meum. Nothing can compare with those precious moments prior to the Mass as you begin the function, the Preparatio Missae, when you're at one with God and all men. Now you too have been ordained, Mattia. Thus you know that emotion. You haven't answered any of my letters. It must be the Roman Curia that keeps you so tied down. I've also been busy. I was appointed secretary to Monsignor Radini Tedeschi. Remember? We met him that day I was ordained. He's now the Bishop of Bergamo. We've traveled to Switzerland, to Lourdes, and even Palestine. He is the emblem of my early priesthood, a teacher of life. The world changes, and we must keep pace with it, because every transformation carries the will of God.
Bosses! Bosses! Profiteering bosses! Bosses!
Where's Marietto?
Right behind me.
Angelo, what are you doing here? I was at the typesetters and I heard about the dispute in the factory.
Marietto just said, look, boss, we're not animals, and they canned him.
They fired him because he's head of the Catholic Union. You should write that in your newspaper.
Yes, here they are, with Father Roncalli marching with them.
That's enough now. Calm down, please. Calm down.
Ah, our young Father Angelo. Tell these good people there's no profit in not working, and that not even your holy gospel endorses the evil of striking.
But it does endorse the rights of men.
You're more of an agitator than a priest.
Your Father Angelo is just an insignificant cleric who has come here with you to support the strike. All this is of your own initiative, is it not? I'm curious to know what your bishop, Radini Tedeschi, has to say about this deplorable act.
Work should not be a war with its own dead and wounded.
Work, which is sacred to the Lord, should be based on respect for the individual.
Until they receive that assurance, the striking workers cannot return to the factory.
Excuse me. Mass is not over.
Who wrote this article about the strike?
It's not signed, Uncle Goffredo.
Oh, it shouldn't be hard, though, for you to recognize the work of a good friend.
I don't understand.
Nonsense, you understand perfectly well. That paper is edited by Angelo Roncalli, the bishop's secretary.
What?
Also the one who was always tagging along with Nicola Catania.
We only took walks together sometimes.
We? I hope it was only Roncalli who went to certain secret meetings with him.
No, Angelo didn't believe in modernist theories, and Catania was only at the seminary for a couple of months.
That's all it takes to manipulate weaker consciences. My boy, Roncalli's collaboration with Radini Tedeschi, who sympathizes with those theories, has forced me to bring the incident to the attention of His Holiness Pius X, and order Roncalli to Rome to clarify the matter.
Can I warn him at least?
If you want to keep the job I arranged for you, you better stay away from him.
I was hoping to see Mattia while in Rome, but they told me he went abroad.
I haven't seen him either. Not since I was suspended by the university. You know they banned me from teaching.
Yes.
These are difficult times for people who want to express their beliefs freely.
I know. But we will be heard.
Who knows if that will ever be possible? Angelo, it's best they don't see me with you in the Vatican.
Really?
Yes.
Dear Lord, help us.
And we've learned that you have formed classes of female students.
Yes, I also teach women, of course. Just as I hear their confessions and give them communion. I don't understand why it's cause for dismay.
It's not a question of dismay. I just wanted you to confirm that there is no cause for concern with that
nor with certain writings of yours that seem to conform with modernist theories.
I suspect it's not just me you're after, Your Eminence.
No one is after anyone, Roncalli. We want to understand what's happening in Bergamo.
In Bergamo there is a bishop who listens to his flock. And if it's he whom you discredit, rest assured that I will stand by him. For as long as the good Lord grants him life.
I know they pressured you into going abroad, and much farther than I could have imagined. 10 years in Bulgaria as our apostolic delegate. Who else but you, with your patience and wisdom, could have found common ground with the Orthodox Christians? Which in turn did prompt your lifetime dedication towards unity amongst religions. Then came an even more challenging task, as apostolic delegate in Greece and Turkey. The war was raging then. You wrote, transforming the world into a graveyard. If the duty of priests in such circumstances is that of aiding the oppressed and the persecuted, you, Angelo, performed that duty tirelessly, often risking your own safety. I got your letters from Istanbul. Alarming indeed.
Teşekkürler Ayıp. Çok ağır değiller.
Don Paolo, we have to buy medicine for the refugees. Do we have any money?
Well, if that's what you want to call this.
That's all?
I can pull some teeth. I've got 2 gold fillings.
Oh, no. Besides, we have to pay the dentist.
This is today's mail, and this is the refugees' correspondence we need to forward to Italy, Romania, and France.
I feel like I'm turning into the mailman. My problem is I make too many promises.
Your problem is you manage to keep them.
If we don't receive the Holy Seal financial support, I won't be able to do it anymore.
It just arrived.
Don Carlo, you should have told me.
Yes, sorry, but there was an Armenian family of 6 people looking for a place to stay.
You told them they can't take any more refugees.
Well, I told them to try the Salesian nuns.
Good. Maybe they still have room.
Oh, there's also David outside who would like to see you.
David?
Yeah, I forgot.
Don Carlo.
The Germans have detained a Romanian ship, the PR, that was originally headed for Haita. And it seems they're planning to send it to Germany.
What's it carrying?
Iron waste.
Why would the Germans be interested in iron waste?
The rabbi was wondering the same thing.
Did you manage it?
Yes. I gave the money to a Kurd sailor who's going to let us on board. But we have to be careful.
What if he doesn't show up?
Don't worry, he'll come. I only paid him half.
Now we're turning into mobsters.
There he is. Let's go, let's go.
Got me. Look.
Întoarce-mă acasă. Au venit să mă ia. Asta și a venit să mă ia.
They're all children. are there?
600.
Oh, God in heaven, I must talk to them.
No, hey! Go on, get back! All of you! You can't get out! Stay in there! Quiet!
Monsignor Roncalli.
Ambassador.
It's so rare to see you at a reception. I'm genuinely honored.
My spirit of sacrifice enables me, now and then, to suffer the company of German colonels. Made more bearable, I must say, by your presence, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you.
Ah, Colonel.
Excellency, I was at Mass on Sunday. My compliments for the progress you have made with the Turkish language, but I have to admit, I prefer hearing Mass celebrated entirely in Latin.
And so do I. Our languages have the same common Latin roots. But to be considerate to our Turkish hosts, I like to say the Gospels at least in Turkish.
Ah, Ambassador from Papen.
Oh, good. I'm so glad he made it.
I did not know he was coming, Ambassador.
Had you known, you wouldn't have come.
As a man of God, I accept the will of the Lord.
Excuse me. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you for the kind invitation.
Please make yourself at home, Ambassador. Madame?
My pleasure.
That quote about wine is from the book by Leopardi I borrowed from you, the one that I still haven't returned to you. It's why you're looking for me all the day?
You know very well why I'm looking for you. Your men follow me everywhere. That Romanian ship must sail for Haifa.
Impossible. I have my orders from Berlin. The ship is due to sail the day after tomorrow.
Where?
Unknown destination.
Auschwitz, Treblinka. That's if it gets there at all. How many ships have been sunk as soon as they reach the open seas? Please, help me.
I always helped you.
That's true. In small ways to save your own soul. At this time it's dangerous and you are afraid to stick your neck out too far.
Do you know what they say? That we are like thieves who pretend to fight by day and steal together by night.
No. We try to save lives. There are 600 children on that ship, all desperately trying to find their mothers. And where will they find them? In a pile of ashes in some oven somewhere.
Stop it.
We are being watched. Come and keep the ambassador company. The wine deluded me into thinking I could bear his company.
Oh, yes, it was a lovely film. My husband and I were there at the Venice Film Festival.
Excuse me.
I remember.
Mrs. von Papen? Could I speak with you privately, please?
Certainly, Father. Excuse me, please.
May I give you this? No, take it. It's not heavy.
I don't understand. What is it?
It belonged to a little Jewish boy. I wanted to give it back to him, but I don't think he'll be needing it anymore. I'm sorry. If the ship can't sail to Palestine, then we'll take the children off the ship.
That's impossible.
David, I've sent a telegraph to the Holy See. I've asked for some blank safe conduct passes. We'll fill the children's names into the passes and take them off the ship. We've managed it before.
But it's 600 people, Your Excellency.
The ship sails tonight, Father Angelo.
That is why there's no time to waste. Now look, you must help us, Rabbi. When the passes arrive, we're going to need Jewish immigration certificates and the name of every single child on that ship. Do you think you can find them?
I don't know. I would need to get in touch with the brothers in Romania. I have them! The brothers in Bucharest came through with a miracle!
Thank God.
Baruch Hashem.
Your Excellency, there were some problems with customs. Rome advises you to be very careful, Excellency.
Good.
Berlin would like to have the cargo reach Germany as soon as possible.
Why? Do you have any problems?
Naturally, there were the usual protests from the Jewish agency. Oh, yeah. And that Catholic priest. I have a feeling he's trying to do something about it. Last night he was at the Italian embassy's reception. Bishop Roncalli. Our offices know him very well. He's far from being an obstacle. But just to play it safe, we have decided to anticipate the ship's departure.
Is everything quiet?
It seems so.
Father Angelo, السفينة راح تأخر ساعة. He says the ship is leaving in an hour.
What do you mean an hour? It's supposed to leave at 2.
أنا لازم أروح متأخر سلامات.
How many do we have?
300. 320.
You have to try to pay for those without passes. Captain! Captain, please! Stop! Stop, please! Holy See is taken under its protection. All those aboard this boat here, these are their safe conduct passes.
I'm sorry, sir, but I have my orders. My men are preparing to sail.
No, you don't understand. The Holy Father has disposed for all those aboard to disembark.
Father, you are the one who doesn't understand. We are ordered to sail immediately.
Captain, one moment, please. We have money.
Captain, I have to speak to you. And you, Father, don't move from here.
We received an order.
Thank you.
Well then, our departure has been put off until tomorrow.
Thank God.
Orders through the German embassy for a routine sanitary inspection. Thank you.
Your Excellency.
We've come to give you back this. We thought that the boy might need it for running through Haifa's streets.
Thank you. Von Papen, Your Excellency.
Shh.
together by night. I'm aware that this might cost you.
Mine. But what is a known man's life worth compared to that of a child?
600 of them. Thank you.
In 1945, Franz von Papen, together with Rosenberg, Bormann, Krupp, and von Bohlen, were accused of war crimes by the International Military Tribunal in Nuremberg. But thanks to your testimony, the ambassador was pardoned. He embraced you when he reached you in Paris, where, in that same year, Pius XII had appointed you his nuncio in that great city. Then, though rather elderly, but still vital and lucid, you were named Patriarch of Venice. You were convinced that that was to be your last endeavor.
It's too windy, Your Eminence.
No, it's Venice.
Oh, I'll get it, Monsignor. Oh!
Mattia.
I know you.
It's me, Nicola. You don't recognize me?
Nicola.
It's been a while, I know. And a lot has changed, but...
I see you're not a priest anymore. A rather drastic change.
That certainly wasn't my idea. My life is over. Doors have all slammed shut in my face. I don't have any work.
You need money.
No. I need to talk to Angelo. I haven't been able to contact him. You must see him from time to time. Could you give him a letter? There's a return address on the envelope. Would you do that for me? Please, you'll give him this letter?
Yes. And now I have to go, Nicola. I have to go.
Mattia, you'll have to be patient. I don't walk so quickly anymore. But you, on the other hand, you look as agile as ever.
Looks can be deceiving. I still haven't congratulated you for your patriarchate.
Oh, don't. You know very well it's a prison.
A prison that I'd like to experience. Although, Angelo, you seem to have a fair amount of freedom here in Venice. Huh?
If that were true, Pope Pius wouldn't have sent you to reprimand me, would he? Come on.
What about your sympathizing with the socialists? They held their congress here in Venice. You practically gave them your benediction.
Sometimes tolerance reaches further than the will. And I am unequivocal in my belief that society must be constructed upon the teachings of the gospel.
Yes, but if the communists prosper, it's inevitably a setback for religion.
Precisely why it is necessary to encourage a dialogue. You can be religious without ever pronouncing the name of God. if you act for the good of humanity.
You're mad, Angelo. You've been spending too much time with your friend Montini. You know what the Holy Father thinks of him?
The same thing he thinks of me, probably.
You are either with Christ or with his enemies.
Excuse me, Your Eminence, but Christ never spoke of enemies.
Yes. These are men's words, Mattia. Like excommunication. Paul Nicola is forbidden to even set foot in a church anymore. Can you imagine how that feels? Have you seen him?
No.
Today, Thursday, October 9th, 1958, His Holiness Pius XII passed away at dawn in his residence at Castel Gandolfo. 2 days of anguished uncertainty before his demise. An anxious throng had surrounded the papal villa in holy vigil. The whole world is at the altar of Christianity, mourning its spiritual father. Cardinal Tissera, the present deacon, came to temporarily assume the powers of the Church. The comfort of the faith was manifested by the cardinals. Pius XII was a leader among men, the vicar of Christ in all his saintly duty. But the time has come for his last temporal voyage. All of Rome awaits its father.
Roncalli, the Patriarch of Venice, is not exactly the ideal choice, but we must address the likelihood of his candidacy.
I see his candidacy as being at odds with the true interests of the Church.
We know which cardinals he is drawn to. Those who will bring change.
Yes, though he's always been pious and respectful of traditions, and has also demonstrated a great talent for diplomacy. Pius XII clearly recognized that, appointing him as his nuncio in France. He has many merits, not excluding, as a matter of fact, that he's opportunely on in years and not without ailments.
In other words, we're speaking of a brief papacy.
Well, a transitional one, during which time we can decide on a candidate that responds to our principles. A choice that would better represent us.
Angelo Roncalli is a simple man who has never betrayed his humble origins, with a goodness that sometimes borders on genuineness.
Forgive me if I contradict your thought. But that portrait you paint of the Patriarch Roncalli doesn't match the person I know. Under his guise of humility lies a razor-sharp acumen. Whoever doesn't understand that is highly ingenuous. Roncalli would leave his mark on the Church. Began on the 25th of October and lasted 4 days. He wrote then, "I nurture the hope of returning to my beloved Venice till the Lord beckons me." But your name kept coming up with insistence, with that of Cardinal Agagianian. On the 28th, you noted, "My poor name is up again. Oh, Lord, help me."
Annunzio vobis gaudium magnum.
Habemus.
Habemus Papa. Eminentissimum ac reverendissimum Dominum Angelum Josephum Sancte Romane Ecclesiae Cardinalem Roncalli. Qui sibi nomen imposuit Ioannes Vice Tertium.
At 8:20, from the central loggia of St. Peter's Cathedral, in the glare of television projectors, you gave your first blessing. Nicola was also there among the crowd, shouting your name, saying you were the Pope of the suffering, of the rejected, of the derelict. You were in poor health the day you were elected, but never once did you postpone an audience. And yet no one knows how trying a Pope's life can be. I recall one day 5 years ago, when the Shah of Persia awaited you in the throne room. You arrived, carried in the gestatorial chair, enveloped in a golden light, a consummate scene. But observing you closer, I saw a moment of dismay in your eyes. But nothing would deter you from your obligation. You immediately reassured Monsignor Capovilla with a smile, for he too had spied your momentary lapse. Apart from yourself, dear Angelo, you never neglected a thing.
Dr. Caputo should be getting here any minute now. As I would like to have another opinion, but the truth is, we need to make some clinical tests.
It's not easy to convince him. He keeps on saying that it's fine.
Come in.
Oh, where?
Dr. Valdeoni must visit His Holiness as soon as possible. He must be here. Very well, Monsignor. I'll go and see.
Forgive me, Gorso, but if he were there, you'd know.
Well, yes, of course.
Buenos dias, Santidad.
Morning. Thank you, Guido. You're looking a little tired lately. Perhaps I've been working you too hard. We were never this busy in Venice.
Your Holiness, I'm so happy and honored that I hardly ever feel tired.
But how are you being compensated for this tiredness that you don't feel?
Appropriately.
But is this appropriate salary enough for you and your family?
Well, we do our best.
Guido, I've raised the typographer's salary and the chair bearers. Well, before, they only had to carry Pius XII. Now, they carry me. And I've raised the workers' wages. Guido, you are the last on the list.
Your Holiness, thank you very much, but it's really not necessary.
Tell your wife that. We're late.
Is it true that today we're going there to the...
Yes, it's true. Where we're going, they can only but wait for us.
Take that hat off. It's cold in here.
Perhaps you're wondering why I've come here. Well, you couldn't come to me.
He's got a good point.
Don't think it's easy for a pope to get around. I am here to see you. I would like to put my heart next to yours and next to the hearts of those who are waiting for you at home. Your children, your wives, sisters, and mothers. Tonight, write home to your families and tell them, today the Pope came to see you because you are not the forgotten men. You are all my children. And I bless you. I will cherish today forever. In the deep of my soul, in a special corner of my heart.
Long live John the 23rd!
Your Holiness!
Come back here!
Your Holiness! Stop him! Stop him! Don't do him!
No, let him through. No.
Holiness. Your Holiness. I killed a man.
What you said was not meant for me. It wasn't.
Oh, yes, it was. It was for you. Yes, my son. Yes, especially for you. Be at peace. The Lord knows your sorrow, and He forgives. I shall pray for you, and you for me.
Today in a prison, and only God knows where tomorrow.
He certainly isn't modeling himself after his predecessor. Pius XII spiritually guided his flock from afar, without the need of pursuing popularity. The only times he had approached the faithful was during the liturgies. I did warn you, and there's no better judge than an old schoolmate.
He also knows you well, and yet he doesn't object to your opposing him. Perhaps he doesn't fear you.
He's far from being naive, I can tell you that. He doesn't fear me, nor does he fear Tardini, his Secretary of State. Nor does he fear you, for that matter.
I'd rather have a doctor's opinion on that.
Oh.
Dr. Valdone is here.
Let's leave the doctors to those who need them, and let's waste their time.
That's their job.
Well, all right. Let's not waste our time with them. Ah!
Good morning, Holiness.
It is such a privilege to feel the grass under your feet. You should have seen the magnificent garden I had in Istanbul. All these different plants living together peacefully. Even then, I thought the church should be like a garden, illuminated by God. Not like a museum, a very old museum. But I was just a bishop then and could do nothing about it.
And now you're the Pope.
Yes. My heart trembles at the thought. But I intend to convene a council.
A council?
An assembly from which African and Asian and American deacons can be heard.
You mean an ecumenical council?
Yes. All the bishops, all of them. They guide the church from places we can't even imagine.
But Your Holiness, it's
time to listen to them. Oh, sit down.
Have you spoken of this?
We are the first to know. Do you think we need a doctor?
You are aware that this decision may attract a lot of criticism.
Yes. Loris, the council is necessary. It cannot be postponed any longer. Imagine a church where every voice is heard, like the flowers in a garden opening to the sun. We can do it. I pronounce before you, revered brothers, trembling a little, overwhelmed with emotion, but at the same time, with humble resolve. The name and the proposal of an ecumenical council for the universal church. I ask you to pray for a providential beginning and the success of all the hard work that this will entail, to which many souls will look at with hope from all over the world. I must say, Your Eminences, I was expecting some kind of reaction, but not total silence.
Certain news can leave one speechless.
I should think we need more time, Your Holiness. It's an announcement of paramount importance.
Nearly 100 years have passed since the last council. I hope we won't have to wait so long to see it's time to hold another one.
Why do we need a council? Didn't Pius IX proclaim the Pope's infallibility?
Bishops coming from such faraway places, they wouldn't have the slightest idea of how Rome rules.
Putting up with his rustic provincial ways is one thing, but that he should make decisions without consulting us is quite another.
You must be realistic now, Your Eminence. After all, he is the Pope.
Isn't he, though?
We entrusted you with a mission of finding a transitional pontiff, one who would diligently continue in the wake of Pius XII with absolute obedience. And what do we end up with? A council.
You see, I told you he'd come. Oh, Your Holiness, thank you for coming. Holy Father, she's just a child and the Lord is taking her from us.
I'm here to pray with you.
Thank you.
Hello, Katharina.
Hello, Holy Father. Is it really you?
Of course. I came to visit you.
I asked baby Jesus to let me see Pope John, because now I'm so sick.
Well, that's not what the doctors told me. And they're very good. Oh. I brought something for you. Do you know who she is?
Yes, it's Saint Catherine.
You see? I knew your name already. Now, tuck her under your pillow. Like I did when I was little. Otherwise, she gets very lonely.
Other holy pictures for them?
No, not with me. But I should send you some, and you can pass them out.
Your Holiness, can I say that your cross is also for them?
What a wonderful idea. Yes, please. Yes, tell them. Let me pray for you.
And here, Your Holiness, our research analysis laboratory, the best of its kind in Rome.
Oh, good, good.
And here is the personnel in charge of the labs. Highly qualified doctors and laboratory technicians. In other words, Your Holiness, This hospital offers excellent diagnostic results.
That's wonderful. Keep up the good work.
Your Holiness, I truly think that it would be a good idea, since we are here, to run a few tests.
You're still working, Your Holiness?
No, I was just going through my old diaries. Sit down. All my life is here. I started dirtying these pages when I was 14. This here. This is the period I spent in Bergamo, from 1899 to 1920.
May I?
Yeah. One of the happiest periods of my life. The happiest period of my life. The period I spent with Bishop Rodini Tedeschi. There are some encounters in your life that just illuminate you. I've always said they come back into our minds like a melody that follows us around, but it doesn't distract us. If only you knew how much we cared about each other, Rodini and myself. And we never, ever told each other. Men are so...
reserved?
Yes. Like us. We were both aware of it. He once asked me to promise him something. Angelo, when my time comes, I want to hear it from you, because you are the one I mostly care about, and the first I want to hold me at that moment. Father Loris, could you make me such a promise? You're a friend, my friend.
Good morning, Your Holiness.
Ah, Father Loris. I called you earlier. What took you so long?
Aren't you cold?
No, I'm not cold. It's so beautiful and so rare to see Rome covered in snow. Yeah. The dome of St. Peter's looks like a Sukkot cake. Did you go out today?
No, I went to the chapel to pray, then I went to mail
I
those letters.
was wondering why we still haven't had the results of the medical tests. You know already.
Forgive me. It's just so difficult. You have cancer, Your Holiness. Stomach cancer.
No crying now. There's no time for that. You have to help me finish my work. The council. That's all I want. God has given me so much. Even if I work very hard, I'll never repay him.
can't even imagine going ahead without you.
You won't have time to think of that. You are the secretary to a very busy Pope. Did you prepare the letter for the Holy See?
No, not yet.
Go and do it now. Go.
On October 11th, 1962, after 44 months of preparation, the Second Vatican Council was inaugurated. The council you so wanted. Between two aisles of impassioned spectators, you were carried on your gestatorial chair across the square of St. Peter's. The event that would illuminate the world in search of spiritual perfection was witnessed and followed on numerous TV screens and radio newscasts. Naturally, the Curia was critical in your regard, above all on the debate of Latin liturgy, a request brought up by missionary bishops who sought permission to say Mass in the language of each land, allowing the faithful to better comprehend the word of Christ. Your address reiterated that ecumenical councils are the solemn celebration of the union of Christ with that of his church. Thus, men, families, and nations shall direct their souls towards celestial things. That night, the faithful of Rome flocked to St. Peter's Square, celebrating the opening of your council. You hadn't prepared a talk of any kind, and yet your impromptu words shall always remain with us.
My dear children, I hear your voices. Mine is just a single voice, but it carries with it the voice of the whole world. And tonight, here, the entire world is represented. And it looks as if even the moon has rushed out to see this wonderful sight. When you go home to your children tonight, give them a gentle caress. And say, this caress is from the Pope. There'll be a tear to dry, so have a kind word. The Pope is with you.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
It's high time, fathers, that the faithful who live far from Rome are able to celebrate the Mass in the language that they speak, so that they might finally understand it. And for elements of their own culture to be included into the Mass.
What on earth are you asking for? Masses said in Bantu, with masked bishops swaying to the rhythm of drum beats?
Yes, in Bantu, in Swahili, in Italian, and in French. In all of the thousands of languages the Catholics of the world speak. All but Latin, which none of them understand.
The Church has always carried out its mission throughout the world for centuries, without ever altering the canon of the Mass.
But times are changing. The world is moving forward. And we notice with disappointment and dismay that Rome doesn't realize this.
Be seated. The Pope has promised not to interfere with the work of the Council or of its commissions, but I believe there are certain aspects of liturgical issues, such as which language to use for Mass, that the Pope has to express an opinion.
The sacred Mass celebrated in primitive lingos, can you imagine? He's turned our role in the Curia to that of puppets, and yet makes a monument of himself. Here, you see? He's also on the cover of your Time magazine, and it never happened before.
It only shows that His Holiness is a great communicator. He knows the art of touching people's hearts, and uses all the tools available today. Newspapers, radio, television.
Then let's also use them. We need to find a way to reduce the importance of his public image.
His present recognition is spotless, impossible to attack.
But what about his past? You recall how insufferable the northern prelates were towards us of the Roman Curia. The modernists. Radini Tedeschi was his bishop with progressive tendencies. You know Angelo better than any of us. Thus you know where to look.
You are asking me to betray him?
No, I'm asking for an act of loyalty towards the Church, which is the Church you believe in.
Good morning, Your Holiness.
Father Lawrence, what's wrong? You look upset.
It's unpleasant to bring bad news.
It's not so bad if the recipient already knows.
So you read it then?
Yes.
They say the Church has collapsed into chaos because of you. And you're incapable of protecting the supreme truth of faith. And your council is seriously tainted with modernism. These accusations come from inside these walls.
These walls don't only protect those who try to do good. The stones they throw at me, I leave on the ground.
Who could have spread that contentious information of your seminary years?
Someone who was in the seminary with me.
Cardinal Carcano.
Here you are. With this you will sleep well.
Thank you, Sister Yolanda.
Night, Holiness.
Good night.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin regarding new developments in the contention between the United States of America and the Soviet Union over Cuban territorial waters. Good evening. A cluster of Soviet warships, possibly carrying medium and intermediate range ballistic missiles, have neared the naval blockade imposed by President Kennedy. No clarifying statements from the White House or the Kremlin have reached us as yet. The world is holding its breath over the dangerous evolving of a situation that could turn into a nuclear conflict. There seems to be no immediate solution ever since Soviet-built missile launching pads were sighted in Cuba.
My God.
We will interrupt our program at the moment we receive further news.
Calm down.
What's going to happen, Your Holiness? My family's there. My sisters, nieces, and my nephews.
No, not another war.
The good Lord won't allow that to happen, Guido. He won't let the world come to an end. Because this time it really could. What's happening?
The situation in Cuba is deteriorating. The Americans are ready for an eventual counterattack. Both sides are essentially in battle formation. The American embassy sent us a copy of their ultimatum. They give the Russians 24 hours to withdraw their battleships from the quarantined area.
What about negotiations? Aren't peace talks on the way?
No, Monsignor. However, there is just one more thing to add. A description of our evacuation plan in case of war.
If there is a nuclear war, there won't be anywhere to go. What the Church holds dearest are peace and the brotherhood of all men. Those of you in whose hands the Lord has entrusted power, listen. Listen to the anguish cry rising up from all corners of the world. From old and young alike, from individuals and communities alike. Listen as it rises up towards heaven.
Peace. Peace. Peace.
Today, we invoke the solemn entreaty. We supplicate world leaders not to remain deaf to humanity's cry and to spare the world the horrors of a war whose terrifying consequences are unimaginable. We pray that they may continue to negotiate and to meet on all levels, because this is the way of wisdom and of caution that favors the blessings of heaven and earth. And only by doing so will they be able to stand with a clear conscience before the judgment of history.
Your Holiness, the Russian fleet has withdrawn.
God. What happened was a miracle.
The miracle, Your Holiness, was your appeal.
No, it wasn't just that. It was that divine will and the will of mankind coincided. That was the real miracle. Peace must be put in the hands and the hearts of all men, not just the Catholics, because the Pope must love all his children equally.
Your Holiness?
Hurry up, I'm late! Move it!
Get back, out of the way, please, out of the way.
There they are!
Where is she? I can't see her.
Sorry, out of the way.
Who's this? Rada Khrushcheva, Khrushchev's daughter. Mrs. Ajubay, Khrushchev, the Russian premier.
Yeah. Поздравления с Рождеством Христовым папе Giovanni XXIII.
My wife has, that her father has sent Christmas greetings to the Pope.
As I understand, you'll be staying 2 days. What would you like to do while you're here in Rome?
We would like to meet His Holiness John the 23rd.
In the Vatican?
Personally.
We got commies going to the Pope? Nothing's sacred anymore.
A nice smile.
Are you sure you want to meet Rada Khrushcheva and her husband? Your Holiness, you must realize that Ajubay now holds a key position. He's a theorist, part of the hierarchy of the Communist Party.
I look at it this way, Your Eminence. If I refuse to see people who have asked for nothing, who have simply requested a chance to show their respect, I am negating my previous position.
But the Russians are taking advantage of your receptiveness for propaganda purposes.
Khrushchev has released imprisoned priests without asking for anything in return. And he responded to my appeal during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Your Holiness, they are poisoned gifts.
No, they are like signals from a distant planet. How can we not listen to them? You have 3 children back home.
Да. Никита, Алексей и Иван.
Ah. Nikita, after his grandfather.
Nikita, как дедушка.
Да, да.
And I know Alexei is popular in the East.
Имя Алексей очень популярно на Востоке.
But Ivan, John,
Но Иван
is the name I chose from my papacy.
это имя моего
It is my father's name
а также имя
and my
моего
grandfather's
отца
name.
и дедушки.
When you go home to Russia,
Когда вернетесь в Россию,
give little Ivan a special hug from me.
крепко обнимите от меня маленького Ивана.
The other two won't mind.
Другие ваши дети не обидятся.
Thank you. Thank you. Are you sure?
Absolutely, Your Holiness. There's no mention of your meeting with Rada Khrushcheva Ajubei. I'm stunned. I really don't understand.
I expected this from the other papers. I've grown used to their attacks by now. L'Osservatore Romano, our own newspaper. Not to mention it, I was explicit. In my day, obedience to the Pope meant something.
Actually, Your Holiness, there was some coverage from our press, or rather there will be. Here's a first draft of an article that will come out in next month's issue of Catholic Citadel.
How is this possible? A gesture of peace has been turned into a vulgar, obscene attack. Are you the one responsible for this article?
In spirit, if not physically.
Oh. It says here. The Pope had a private meeting with the daughter of the leader of a political party that has always been considered the Church's eternal enemy. Now, this strikes me as an inappropriate way to define communism.
How would you define it?
I would work to combat it, not define it.
Many people don't get that impression.
Yesterday's enemies can be tomorrow's friends, and the Church has no enemies. And adversaries are those who you confront yourself with, my dear. Something you've never done with me. You've only ever fought me. Always.
You have the right to relieve me of my position here. If you don't have confidence in me, why don't you do so?
Because I can't but love you, my dear. You're part of my life. Like Nicola. I learned that he was trying to contact me. I've never denied my friendship with Nicola.
If there is nothing else, Your Holiness.
Oh, God. Why is it so difficult?
A copy of the Pacem in Terris in Spanish.
Smile. Hey,
A copy of the Pacem in Terris in French for President de Gaulle.
Could you move over there? Over here. Yes, that's it. What's he saying?
A copy for John F. Kennedy. Copy in Russian for Premier Nikita Khrushchev.
Bye, darling. I'm going.
You're not going to allow His Holiness to read the papers this morning?
See what they called his encyclical Pacem in Terris? Peace on earth with a hammer and sickle. As if it were his fault that the communists gained 1 million votes in our last election. And you know why? Because often his encyclicals talk about working classes, women's rights, and the underprivileged. But his defending of human rights doesn't mean he's taking a political stand. This nonsense is going to hurt him terribly, just when his health is so poor.
Don't worry, Guido. His encyclical will live forever. While these newspapers will end up wrapping fish tomorrow morning.
It's Friday. Fish markets are open today. Bye, darling.
Guido? You didn't bring my newspapers?
They haven't been delivered yet.
Oh, too bad. Because there's an editorial cartoon devoted to me.
Yes, but it doesn't look a bit like you, I swear.
So you have seen the newspapers?
Yes, Your Holiness. I just couldn't.
You wanted to deny me the pleasure of having you console me, Guido? You're my family. You are the people I turn to when I'm disappointed, in need of solace. Is she here?
Is it true she's ill, Your Holiness? She looks so pretty, so alive.
Yes, Guido. She is very ill. Did you know that kings and queens from all over the world have sat in that chair? You look like a little princess today.
Good morning, Holy Father.
Come. Would you like to try mine?
Mm-hmm.
But don't tell a soul, though. Thank you for coming to visit me.
Does God have hands like yours?
Maybe. He made the earth and the land. Yeah, I suppose. He's got hands just like mine.
And what happens when you are in the hands of God?
You see all the people you love again.
So you never feel alone?
Oh, no. You never feel alone.
But if you are in the hands of God, and I'm still here, how do I talk to you when I want to?
Just call me. I'll hear you.
I love you, good Pope. Can I come back and visit you again?
Of course you can, Katerina. Of course you can.
He promised me I could meet him again. Are you gonna let me see him, Mommy?
Of course. Don't cry. Don't cry, my love. Come. Come with me.
The Vatican announced this morning that the ailing Pope, John the 23rd, will receive the cardinals of the Curia in his private apartments. Thousands of letters, telegrams, and testimonials have reached the Vatican with words of comfort for the good Pope John, who even in this critical moment of his life has inevitably won the hearts of people throughout the world.
Your Eminence. Someone's been asking for you downstairs.
For me?
Yes.
Nicola.
Mattia.
I saw you this morning.
So you did see me. I was going to St. Peter's Square. How is he? Will you see him again before he...
I have to. I never did give him your letter.
Oh.
Forgive me.
Embrace him for me.
May I embrace you?
Mattia.
Angelo.
I didn't think I'd see you again.
Don't say that, please. I was with Nicola.
You saw him?
Yes. He's in the square, keeping vigil with the others. He wanted to embrace you, but as you know, Angela, he doesn't have that privilege.
We are still ourselves. Like when we were boys. Like we will be forever.
Hear my confession.
No. I know what you want to say to me.
Please, forgive me.
There will always be a place in my heart for you, my dear. Please, don't suffer. We are made in heaven. We are here a little time, and then we take up our journey again. Father Loris.
Excuse me.
I'm certain that the good Lord, in all his mercy, will not stop me joining him. I give my life to the church and to the unity of all Christians. But Father Loris, there must be a dialogue between all religions for world peace.
Holy Father? Holy Father?
Holy Father.
Now he's gone, isn't he, Mommy?
Yes.
Don't be sad. You know, I can still talk to him.
Oh?
He told me I could. You can hear me, right, good Pope? Hello, good Pope. Hello.
Con l'animo profondamente commosso diamo il seguente triste annunzio. Il sommo pontefice Giovanni XXIII è morto. Il Papa della bontà è ispirato santamente e serenamente, dopo aver ricevuto i sacramenti di Santa Romana Chiesa, nel suo appartamento del Palazzo Apostolico Vaticano, alle ore 19:49 di quest'oggi, 3 giugno 1963, assistito dai collaboratori più intimi, dai congiunti, dai medici. Il morbo è inesorabile, acuitosi nelle ultime 2 settimane, che tuttavia non ha impedito al vicario di Cristo di espletare fino all'ultimo giorno, con indomita volontà e pastorale zelo, gli ardui compiti del suo alto ufficio, ha stroncato la sua forte fibra.